Hey YouTubers, Scott here from Kincaid Woodworking, and I just wanted to give a little tutorial, quick little couple notes that I noticed when I'm working with anything really, that I get a lot of questions which come to how do you make your plaques and your cutting boards or your tables or whatever it is you're making, how do you get that extra edge when you want to have a really nice finished product? And it really always comes down to one thing, and that's prep work. People think, I can go and I can get the nicest wood, the nicest hardwoods you can get, and all that stuff. And that's all kind of a given. You need to do all those things. But it really comes down to prep work. And one of the projects I'm working on right now in my shop is my laser engraver room in there. Needs a new workbench for it. My wonderful wife bought me a new fridge. Keep my soda pops and dad pops in there. So I just need to make a new workbench for it that kind of fits it in there, and it has a nice little top on it and everything. And like everything I do in my shop, because I'm just like my old man, is everything is overkill. So I'm making these big 2x4 bases. It's going to hold everything strong, and then a nice 3/4 plywood over top. Nothing too fancy, just pretty stout. So the reason I brought this up today is because I want to talk about the Kreg jig. A lot of people who do woodworking are very familiar with the Kreg jig. It's a very quick way to do pocket holes, which allow for a flush mounted screw that it's kind of mounted sideways into a board, and it allows you to kind of hide that screw. And if you can get pockets, you can get the plugs that match the wood type you're using, and make it all pretty. So when you're doing cabinets and things, it's really popular amongst cabinet makers and cabinet door makers that you can use pocket holes to make sure that you have a really nice finished product. But I also like it. I don't use too many Kreg jigs in my woodworking because I do a lot of plaques and awards and nothing that really requires them. But I use them a lot in furniture making, and especially shop furniture, because you can get a really strong joint with a Kreg jig and a pocket hole. But the secret is prep work, prep work, prep work. So what I do, right, is I take my 2x4, just a regular old construction grade 2x4, nothing fancy, Doug fir, no big deal. And I take it and I rip the edges off, so I end up with a really nice 3-inch wide piece that's consistent across all of my entire pieces, so that everything's the exact same width. And I get the edges off, so I 1/4 inch off this side and a 1/4 inch off this side, and I end up with 3 inches. And then I also flush cut everything in the exact same size on the miter box. And this makes sure everything is a perfect 90 degrees. Measure twice, cut once, like the old adage says, and just make sure everything's trim. And it seems a little overkill to knock everything down a 1/2 inch to make sure everything's exactly 3 inches. But what you'll find is that when you line all your holes up, it's easier to line up everything, and it looks better in the end. And if you route the edges, which I always do with 1/4 inch round over bit, it makes everything look a lot more flush. So to give you an idea kind of how a Kreg jig works, if you're kind of curious, it's very simple to do these pocket holes. Kreg jig, when you buy the product, they give you the actual pocket hole drilling jig. And then if you buy the right one, they'll give you, there's a different model, I can't remember the exact number of it, but the model offers you a holder for it. You can buy it with just this, a holder. Generally speaking, they also, I don't have them over here, they're over there, but a set of vice grips that have 2 flat bottoms will help you line your surfaces together. And they'll give you these cool drill bits with a pilot hole, and then your shank, and then a stop right here. And that stop you set right here on your jig, or if you buy the different product that only has just the top, I'm sure with the box it comes an actual lineup in there. And you line up the size of your material. So there's a little spot in here you can put, if I have a 1.5 inch material, which is a 2x4, I'll put my drill bit in there, and the stock kind of lines right up there. There's a stop there. You just tighten it with an Allen wrench and call it a day. You can kind of see from there, from that angle, stop right there. So I just do it really simple. And then once you get your jig lined up, it's easy to just put your board in there, catch it. You can tighten it back up. If it has to be on here, you'll clamp it down with the clamp jigs I told you about. And there's little slots in here for holes, and end of the day, got yourself a nice little pocket hole. And then you'll use your shouldered screw, your metal fastener here, It fits right in there. And Craig Jig also gives you a nice square head, long extended drill bit here that you can just take your when you line the two up and go all the way through. So pretty easy and very, 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 very handy. But the big thing is, like I said, prep work. So whenever I do my stuff, I'll get one of these long cabinet, clamps here, and they're really good for furniture and cabinet making. And I'll line them up, and you can see everything can be nice and square with these. And I can line up all on the edge. And by flushing these sides down to 3 inches, what you'll notice is that I'm able to kind of get a really good, especially for shop furniture, just by feel, I can see what edge I'm on. So when I line it up on my workbench, I can really find the exact center of where I want to be. And that comes in really handy. So then when I get that on there, I clamp it down, I make sure I'm flush here, I make sure I'm flush on the edge, and then I get my, if I'm feeling really, really cool and I really want to be perfect, I'll get a carpenter square and make sure there's a perfect 90. Once again, this is shop furniture, so it's not the end of the world. But pardon me, sorry about that. So just make sure your everything's square and flush and as close to 90 as you can before you ever start the project you're starting with, because prep work will minimize finish work, and finish work is what makes a project look that much better and that much more professional, and really gets the oohs and ahs when you show them to your family and friends. So anyway, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. If you want more little tutorials like this or little hints and tricks of the trade, just let me know and I'll be happy to help you out. See ya!